We're converting over. A lot of people, good response on the placards. Kind of a silly thing. I wouldn't have thought it would have been a big deal, but apparently a lot of guys are having the same issue. it's not on their vehicle either. A lot of people, good response on the placards. Absolutely. Kind of a let's see here. Silly thing. I wouldn't have thought it would have been a big deal, but apparently a lot of guys are having the same issue. It's I think somebody's got to mute me. A lot of people, good response I'm echoing placards.
You okay?
Absolutely. Kind of a let's see here. Silly thing. I wouldn't have thought it would have been. Is that better? All right. I was gonna say I think I was echoing in somebody's stuff. What is going on, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live stream. Everybody blowing up the comments. What is up? What's up? Good evening. Special guest tonight, we have Rainman Ray stopping through. We're going to be talking trucks. We're going to be talking about some stuff going on. Ford Boss might be stopping through, but we're going to get it kicked off with the short we had today, talking about that misbuilt 22, and a lot of good responses from you guys. We are in the middle of trying to, here comes Ford Boss now, we're in the middle of trying to figure out what trim option, what configuration the truck is equipped with to get those from the factory. And it's weird that the one was missing on the driver's side, but I have a 20 Lariat Ultimate, and I have those on the same as that 22 you saw, except I have all four of them. So the back ones are plain, the front ones just say Super Duty. So kind of weird. I don't know if Ford Boss, have you seen any of those come in missing? Kind of a weirdo.
I'm not sure what we're exactly talking about.
So I had a 22 Super Duty come in, and you know when you open up the door and right down on the sill, the part that gets sandwiched in between the door, it'll have like that little scuff plate kick panel, and it'll say like Super Duty on it or something. Well, I had one come in today that was completely missing, and it was kind of weird, but yeah, I'm gonna have to install that. Just kind of a
I was switching between cell service and Wi-Fi, so the part that gets sandwiched between the door.
Yeah, this part that gets sandwiched between the door and has the Super Duty, says Super Duty on it. It wasn't even, that little placard, it wasn't even there. It was completely missing. So it's kind of weird to see it like not even existent. Krautster, what is up, dude? I see you up there. Hey. Bill Beckett, what is going on, dude? Skidoo. Pretty big thing to miss.
No,
I feel.
Are they standard on the newer trucks, or
I don't know. We're trying to figure that out. If for me being a Lariat Ultimate, I have them. I just had a gentleman comment, said he has a 22 King Ranch and he doesn't have them. I don't know what the dealio is and what's the contributing factor on who gets those and who doesn't.
You think
one of the things?
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Ford Boss.
Do you think it could be another one of those things where they're trying to save on certain trim levels and stuff like that, and it could be eventually be something that they take out, like they did with the insulators and the hood lights and everything else that they've been slowly taking away?
I mean, if that's the case, I'd hope that they would not put any of them on and not just 3 of them.
Right.
It's probably something that gets added extra, and they have a whole center that does extras, like the factory sprayed in bed liner, weird little items like that you can order from the factory. They have a whole center that does it. So this thing goes to the separate area. It's not a normal assembly line. It's more like a big staging area, and guys do more intricate jobs. And maybe one guy put on one side, went to lunch and forgot to do the other side.
Yeah.
That's
Could easily happen.
That could
Now,
be, it could
using mine for plowing, I've noticed that if you don't tell guys not to kick the truck right there, that part of the truck will dent really easily. I don't know if that plat or that sticker that goes there, I don't know if that would prevent any of that. It's kind of thick. It's like a thick.
Yeah, I think I know. Clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It dings it up so fast if guys start kicking their snow boots on that. It just dents it up.
Tom Jubb, one of the channel members, has got a question. I don't know if I can answer. Is it true pre-2020 the platinum was lit? Is that an option to get now? The way you can check to be 100%, go out and pull up on your sill panel. I have them. I just don't have a platinum trim level. So if I wanted to get lit up sill plates that some people have, they just say Super Duty on them. They would plug right in.
And when you pull up on that sill panel, don't be, I don't know how to say this without coming out, it may be misconstrued. Don't be super easy when you do it, but also don't be super aggressive. If you're going to grab that sill panel and pull it up, do it and try to do it in one solid motion, and don't take from one area, support the end of it with one hand and then move your other hand a little bit further down and kind of pop it. So I've seen guys try to be too easy and snap the tabs off, and I've seen guys be too aggressive and they snap the tabs off. Do it like, you know, like you're meaning to do it, because people that are scared when they do it, they break them.
Kind of like the badges, the emblems on the side.
Yes.
That's a good one. Another issue with this brand new 22 with 4,000 miles on it. I'll go down his complaints. I'll have to do a little short maybe on this first one or the last one. His steering wheel is off center. His clear vision is off kilt. He has Vista Roof, and you guys, we've been talking about Vista Roof. A lot of guys don't like them. Some people don't use them. DS had a good video where he showed how to properly lubricate the rubber seals and the track to get the most out of it, and not have binding and whatnot. Well, if you can envision standing on the left rear part of the step bar and having the left rear door open, if you were to look up on the roof, the part of the Vista roof that is in the corner and it curves to go to the back, the rubber seal is totally rolled underneath. Totally rolled underneath. Hey, thanks a lot, Joseph. We appreciate you. And it's not causing a water leak, but obviously you want to have the rubber seal fully against the metal part of the truck. I mean, this is again another quality issue. And Ford Boss and CP and Ray, we when we get these new vehicles in, we have if a vehicle's been 90 days or newer, we have to take pictures of the vehicle, the problem, and this is something that Ford's going to be implementing. Every dealer is going to have to do this with new vehicles, and they're going to try to cut down on the issue we're having with quality. Not only is it fitment, water leaks, you name it. I mean, I know when we're mass producing vehicles, but it's getting to the point where, I mean, just like enough is enough. I have a 1983 F-150. Those were mass produced too. This thing's got 8,000 miles on it. It's like it should be. Gaps.
I can tell you what the issue is with that.
Tell me, Plant Man.
They're pushing guys a little bit. They're pushing the jobs a little bit harder than they should.
You think so?
They'll go through, especially around this time, around the end of the model year, they'll go in there and they'll start cutting jobs. They'll cut a whole thing, and then they will say, okay, put all those components, put it on like the next 6 people. That's how they cheapen up the vehicle toward the end.
Like
Toward
you would know. I mean, that I listen to what you say wholeheartedly because you have more experience in that area than any of us do. So
yeah, they're getting ready for a new model. You know,
I'm thinking also that we're still dealing with a lot of the 19 stuff, and I don't need to put the word in front of it. And it's not, I'm not blaming it on that. I'm blaming it on the quality of the person that a lot of these places are hiring too. I have insight to some of the places where some of these vehicles are put together. And to be honest with you, the stories that I hear on who's hired versus what was hired before and the work ethic and stuff in general, a lot of times just isn't there. And I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody. I'm just trying to be honest. And
yeah,
from what I hear, from what's being hired and what's being the people that are fulfilling these obligations as an employee, they're not necessarily top notch like we used to have guys that would look forward to coming to work and making this wage of this honest worker and stuff like that. And now
it's both sides. You know, it's the company they're trying to jam too much in one station, but it's also the person being hired. And it's the inflation, not to get political, but these contracts aren't in place and they can't come in here and raise the wage to like $20 an hour or 25 an hour to start, where like a smaller company, they can do that. They control all the pricing. A company like Ford, they still got to chart. They still got to pay the guy what they were paying before that last contract. So they might start people at like 16 an hour, 17 an hour, but the work is really hard. It's so hard that it's just like any job, you got to hire a few people and get rid of a few people before you find the right person. But people just can't, a lot of people just can't do it. It's so monotonous, the repetition. You have to really overcome a lot of things. It's going to hurt. Like the job will hurt you. Period.
The last part of his issue is here he is right here. I'll tell you, 85K for sure, and I'll be there first to say buy it from a good dealer. That's correct. And the support is what you're going to need in order to prolong the life of that vehicle and experience. The last thing, let's see later, that is something that he's got to have taken care of is the rear bumper. If you stood at the tailpipes, so you're like at the 45 angle of the truck, if you look at the rear bumper, that thing is twisted, like straight up twisted. I can't explain it to you. It's not like he hit something. It looks like the bumper was torqued and tightened on. So you have a nice gap on the driver's side between the bottom of the fender and the bumper. It's nice and perpendicular to itself. The other side is, it's like, what the heck? I know, just like DS, we got a lot of stuff going on. They can miss it, but the end result, the consumer, my man, 85K.
But I will say this, when you guys bring those issues up, they bring that stuff to the line. They haven't done that in the past, but in the last couple of years, like you guys report, you got to take pictures and all that. They'll bring those pictures down to the assembly line nowadays.
Mark Parker says something that's kind of scary. Mark my words, artificial intelligence will replace most of our workforce in the very near future. That's scary.
I mean, they've been doing that I remember when I was in auto body school down in Arkansas at Black River Technical College, one of the trips that they took us on was they took us to, what is the big giant 5 mile plant or something like that that's in like Tennessee or Kentucky? Is it like the Nissan plant or something? It's huge. It's massive. And they took us to this plant and they were showing us what was going on, and they put us in these trolleys, and it was like a snake going through this plant, and it took forever to get from one side to the other. And some of it was shut down. And while we were waiting in line to get into the building, they were like, yeah, we have a partial plant shutdown right now because there was supposed to be 50 some engines or 150 some engines, whatever it was supposed to be produced. And somehow something happened and some of the force or the workforce got pushed over to another area to help out, because a lot of the stuff that was being built by robots, there was a couple machines that was down, like for some kind of catastrophic failure, and it shut down a whole section of the plant. And when we were going through there, there was an entire area that was like walled off, and it was nothing but robots building and welding. And I was shocked, and I was like, people don't do this? And they were like, no. And then eventually over time, it's going to become we're going to get to a point where it's more and more and more of these robots and these programming stations that are doing almost everything.
Well, I mean, like right now, if for whatever reason the whole plant could be automated or more automated, it would be. But there's like an effort to keep jobs because of whatever reason. They got to have people making the wage. But anything that would suck to do, would just suck to do, a robot's going to do it. Like put a windshield in. How much easier could it be to just, there's no easy way for a guy to put a windshield in.
All right.
So they just get a robot and grabs the whole windshield, sticks it in there, puts the silicone on it. It does everything.
And that robot ain't got to piss. He ain't got to smoke. He ain't on his phone.
Sometimes he misses a spot with that silicone though. Messes up a couple thousand trucks.
Well, look at the front covers on. Now I've asked about this, and there's nobody that can give me really a clean cut answer. Why is it on certain model F-150s, when I'm resealing the front cover, they all leak in the same exact spot in the same area, right on the passenger side, right by the AC compressor.
Yep.
And it's in that same area. And some of the ones that I pull apart, it looks like there's nice, even silicone all over the front cover. And then once it gets to that one area, it's like almost dry. Like they don't even really put that much in that area. And that could be a lot of the reason why this is going on. Is that a robot? Is that a human being that's making that mistake?
Well, it's probably a human being. It's probably a human being, whoever programs that robot, just like with the windshield. That's like a CNC issue. Like, how did it miss I remember for a while, they were missing a corner with that windshield. Yeah. And it's a robot. You can't expect the robot to do anything without someone programming it.
Mm-hmm. Well, shouldn't somebody come in after, like, you set up your program and you say, all right, robot, we want to do this much silicone and here's our area. You do a test run. Shouldn't the programmers come back and then take a look at what it did?
After like 50 runs or something.
I mean, you've got to quality control something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be the way that way.
On it was a new 2.3 EcoBoost Mustang, and the guy only had like 4,000 miles on it, and I'm already starting to see oil accumulate around the rear of the valve cover, leaking down the cylinder head. And I'm like, this is not just seepage now, this is actually starting to accumulate. So I'm going to go ahead and reseal this while I'm here. And I have the video up where I pull the valve cover off, and then I'm looking in that area that it's leaking right in the crevice where it goes over the cam area in the rear of the cylinder head. There was nothing really even put there. It nothing like the areas that looked dry and it sealed properly. In the area that was leaking, it's like they missed that whole entire corner there. I was like, how many of these are going to go on? Or how, I just don't understand, if this is happening and it's a common problem, how this can keep happening without somebody addressing it.
People don't know they're doing something wrong until they're told. So,
but you got to give them credit too. It's a very complicated thing to build these vehicles. And I mean, they might run something like 600 plus units per shift. They run 3 shifts a day, at least at the plant where I was working. Maybe not every plant's doing that, but these truck plants.
Like when I see there's I can't remember his name on TikTok. There's an AMG Mercedes, young dude, real clean cut, shirt tucked in, doing phenomenal work. I subscribe to him. And he was doing what a robot would have to do, what we have to do to upper oil pans, what Rich has to do to front covers, and laying silicone and preparing the surfaces. Rain Man, we all know what happens when we don't prepare the surface with silicone. It's going to come back leaking oil. Well, the same thing, just like Rich said, What's happening to these F-150s or to these Transits or to these Tauruses, Explorers, where they're always leaking right here on bank one side of the front cover? What is going on? We always see the front oil pan, the upper oil pans leaking right at the T-joint where it meets the front cover, the block. What's going on? Did they not put silicone there? Did they use the wrong silicone? Wink, wink, wink. Did they not use metal surface prep wipes? You have all those engines in the Mexican engine plant. They're all 6.7 short blocks, all those graphite blocks. I think back to the guy, the AM General guy, or AM General, the AMG Mercedes tech. Cleanliness. I'm looking at the engine, not going to be in the plant. Clean. Metal surface prep wipes, not going to be in the plant. When we get new engines, when we get new parts, when we all get new engines parts, we have those paper little bags in them that have a coating of like oil on it, and they're all packaged up, and the components all have this slime on it, and we have to prepare all these new parts for the silicone. Do you really think that they're having that same cleanliness in the manufacturing where they're doing these engines? I don't think so.
Well, probably not every time. What if one's got some whatever oil on it and they're just like in the hole or whatever trying to get it done?
Ship it.
Don't say nothing.
We got 10,000 behind it. Ship it.
We've had that happen to where they actually notified us ahead of time and said, hey, you got a block of this, and this vehicle. We didn't have time to correct the problem. We pre-notified the dealer ahead of time. They're coming your way. This is what we want you to take care of. We're just giving you the heads up. And we're like, oh, that's neat. I mean, that's nice that they at least recognized it, prepped us. When the vehicles come in, they were put in the back of the lot, and then we pulled them right in, regardless of how small or how large, and was able to address it immediately. And then they send us the correct parts. Even remember the Explorer STs, when they first came out, they were shipping them with regular Explorer brake pads. They ran out of the pads that were supposed to be supplied for that. They let us know ahead of time, hey, we're going to ship these vehicles out. You're going to get them, but we're also going to send you a second shipment of the right parts to go in this. This is just to safely have them on the road right now so you can get your vehicle and then go ahead and upgrade to the right, performance pack pads or whatever they're supposed to go on. Then we apologize. We didn't mean for this to happen, but unfortunately you run into these things sometimes. It's the unexpected stuff. I was talking to an engineer that works directly at the assembly plant, and he said, you cannot even begin to understand the amount of stress that we are put into when we're going through a release or the final look through as the vehicles are leaving, because they are on us like hawks. And it doesn't matter what your level is or what your experience is. Sometimes you have to shut your mouth and try to identify right then and there, can I ship it and can it be addressed later? Can I ship it and this may or may not be a problem? You can't slow down the line. You can't slow down production. If you do that, then it's a major, major, major issue. Some things have to get addressed later, or some things have to get addressed later because of the circumstances that you're going through. And unfortunately, we can't control that.
Amen to Mark Parker. He said it right there.
Imagine this, dude. You train a guy, you train him to do the job on the line. You walk away, and when you walk away, he starts putting on the wrong stuff. He does it for like an hour. You come back, you say, hey, you just put on the wrong one. What are you doing? He goes, really? You know what? The guy who brings you the parts, he takes the thing away and he parks it. He brought you the wrong bin. He brought the whole bin is wrong. So, dude, this happened one time. It was with the hood insulators, all wrong. And the way you tell is like there's a little V on one. Like why there's different ones, I don't know, but there'd be like a little V on one. And it's like, Sean, you got to go fix all those. And I remember saying like, oh my God, dude, I need help. I'm pulling out all the push pins and I'm switching them off and just throwing them on, pushing the pins back in. But I'm at the end of the line and they're leaving and just going up and going away. And there's a little thing that you hit. If you go in there, you got to hit it so it don't take you up away with it. And I'm just at the end of the line, just trying not to get swept away. Trying not to get swept away. And then it got to the point where I was like, guys, I can't. You got to let it go. Like I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, they build them with wrong frames all the time.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Lord.
I've done so many frame swaps when I was working at Roush. It was not even funny.
Well, another good one that we had today was the trans 22 Super Duties, and another guy asked if he could apply this to a 20 and a 21. When we reprogram stuff, we do not get to pick the cal that is going into the truck. We search module reprogramming, and internally in the computer we hear, and it says, hey, the PCM has one, the GPM has one, the NOx module, and that's it. So we proceed to do whatever modules updating, but this one in particular is for shifting concern 3-2-1-2 shift using the tow haul and or exhaust brake. A lot of guys were saying, you know, when they're towing or using the exhaust brake, they're coming up to like a stop or just a slow coast down where they're going to be making a turn, they'll get just a jarring, slamming sensation from downshifting, vice versa, taking off from a stop, maybe not fully came to a complete stop. So a weird window of operation. A customer coworker just did his 22, and both the TCM and PCM had an update. So client here in the comments, we have a few concerns we're going to do on his truck, but is going to add the trans update to make sure that his PCM and TCM is at the latest calibration. Because the biggest thing that I have seen you guys come in so far, the ones that I have done with the shifting concern harsh out of park has been first updating the TCM if there's been a reflash available, and clearing the TCM adaptive learned values and taking it for good road tests to have it relearn and start, you know, the new shift points and whatnot. So you guys are having that problem. You know, I hate when other dealers give you guys issues, because we're going to be looking at the same problems and information that they're going to be seeing, and it's kind of silly to hear them say that because you have this air freshener hanging from your mirror, your warranty is void. Like, really, man? Really? So find yourself a good dealer. Somebody had commented up there that it's hard to find a good dealer. I'm slowly starting to grow a network of repair men that are like us. I have one in LA. I got two in Florida. Rich here we got in Chi-Town. I'm in Detroit doing people on the East Coast, and I just don't have a hand to reach over on the West Coast. There's another technician who I'm slowly starting to communicate with who's in Washington. So, you know, we're trying to have a good reach so that you guys can, you know, if you want to drive an hour or two away and feel confident about somebody working on your truck or who has known me, that, you know, you feel, you know, you can take, you don't, you know, need to have those types of feelings, you know, buying a $96,000 Super D. Just put a tremor winch on today. This is my third tremor winch, the sticker 96,800. There better not be one damn thing wrong with this man's truck. And I was quite pleased. Third time's a charm. The tremor winch came out nice. I was did a couple things different. I think it came out nice, but pain in the butt. Pain in the butt.
That's the child support check, DS.
Oh, dude, call me out big time.
I know. Honestly though, I was in there.
Gonna be.
Gonna be is for sure.
This YouTube thing is it's really amazing being able to hang out with you guys, because I meet a lot of customers that don't know about me, and then you guys say something about me, and then that not only helps build my rapport with them and my income and the dealership's income in general. The other day I walked out of the lunchroom and I walked into the shop and I was like, wait a second, this is surreal right now. That's my subscriber. That's my subscriber. That's my subscriber. My subscriber's walking through the back door. He says, I'm going to
That's
drop off
awesome.
my 2011 town car. I need a trans service and power steering flush. And then all of a sudden, over the next 3 days, there was like 5 or 6 more of my subscribers that just, hey, I want to go to this dealership because I trust these guys. And even some of the older guys are starting to recognize it in the shop now, because I went up and I checked on an 18 F-150 that was getting phasers done. I go check on a technician. Hey, not to put any pressure on you or anything, but this is one of my subscribers right here. So he's like, oh God, here we go. And then the other guy, the old guy working across from me, he says, I guess these people dropped off this MKC, this Lincoln MKC, because the liftgate don't open, and they were watching your YouTube video and they've been subscribed to you for a while, and now I got to fix it. I'm like, oh, sorry, brother. If you need any help, I got all the pinpoint tests and everything down. I can tell you exactly what to do and how to find it. And then I went to go walk by, and he says, actually, I've been on my computer for the last 45 minutes. I don't know how to get this rear plastic panel off of this MKC, because Ford didn't build a safety release in the MKC. In this particular model, there's nothing to release it. You have to literally pull the plastic cover off of the handle, take the 2 T20s out. You got to grab the handle and pull it forward and yank it away from the lift gate. And you break a little plastic tab that's by the latch, and then it kind of folds away. And then you can turn the panel sideways and pull it out of there. So I had to climb in there and do it for him. And I'm like, look, let me do it. Let me do it. Don't break it. It's one of my subscribers. I want to make sure this is 100% perfect going back together. So the last couple of weeks, or since I've been back from vacation, man, it's been crazy. And then tonight, right when I'm about to clock out, service writer comes out and says, hey, here's an E350. This guy just dropped off and says he's been following you for a while, and you've already done some work on his vehicle. So he's dropping off work. I'm like, wow, man,
That's way cool, bro.
This is crazy.
That's way cool. That's cool. It's go ahead.
I wonder if what you guys are doing is really the formula. Like the way you guys have kind of presented yourselves, like it really does create a level of comfort going to the store. And then I wonder if it's going to just be the normal thing, like, hey, every technician, in order to really compete now, more technicians start doing videos.
Show
like,
you
hey,
work.
we need you think it's going to start to expand like that? Or
a lot more guys have been interested lately, because I think they understand that a lot of the future is in technology and stuff. And before, people used to be scared of it. I remember when I first started doing videos, the service manager was like, dude, I don't know, man. I said, look, trust me. I've been watching a lot of these other guys doing it, Ray and Aaron and other guys. I'm going to get in it. I'm not going to back out. I don't think I really want to take a don't do it, or just give me a chance. Let me see how people respond. And then as I got better, and I'm never really going to be good, because I'm what I call a good a-hole in certain regards, because I don't like to take people's crap for no reason. But I'm never going to be one of those guys that's like, millions of subscribers and stuff like that, just because that's not my personality. But I do recognize that I do reach a certain crowd. And then the more comfortable I got, the more I started showing the repairs, the more people were like, I kind of trust people that are showing me even when they screw up and they find the fix for it, and they fix their screw up, and they don't admit to being perfect and stuff all the time. Hell, I just admitted on my channel that I've had this customer come from 2 independent shops and another dealer that couldn't find the problem. They came to me twice when it currently wasn't going on. So they got charged 2 hours labor, 1 hour each time when they came to see me, and I still couldn't find the problem. The third time, I didn't want to give up on it, and I spent an entire 9-hour day trying to diagnose, and kept Ford updated the entire time while I was going through.
Figured it out.
And I figured it out. We figured it out. I needed you to kind of to run it across. And it's stuff like that. When people see the honesty, that you're not perfect, that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, even if you have to eat your own time sometimes, which I didn't really have to. I just felt morally it was the right thing to do. They latch onto that, and they start to see honest people. They're not trying to take advantage of other people, and they want to go see those people.
It's like so many times, Rich, dude, I'm sure, Ray, you've heard it too. CP, like, dealers. So you guys got, and the guys in the comments, my dealer's not making me too happy. Oh, howdy. why are people driving across the country to have us fix their trucks? Yes, we are good at what we do, but there should be no reason why you should not be able to put good faith in your local Ford dealer. I want your business. I have no business, no problem spending the money how you want. It's a little it's like, what the hell's going on out there? It's like not every dealer's got slime balls. We're all from the dealer. We like what we do and we're here to help. We'll help to get these things and keep them on the road. But you know, it's just today it's just enough is enough, man.
I think it's maybe a scary thing. Like there's almost a wall. You know, you got your technician, you've got your service writer. He's up front. We're gonna take your car up back. You're not gonna see it no more. And then you don't
Mhm.
know. You're
What
the
are they
customer. You
doing?
don't know. You don't. The guy. He's gonna give you a diagnosis that you just. It's over your head. Yeah. Hey man, you need a timing chain and phasers. You're just out of warranty. What? I need a what? Yeah, it's gonna be. What is that gonna cost? $1,700. What? $1,700. Normal American. Most Americans. That's a big hit for a vehicle.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff like that.
Some of the things I remember hearing back in my early days with unsure service advisors. Now, picture you guys listening, right? You bring your truck in for service and you don't talk to the technician. You're talking just, this is your experience. You dropped it off. This person wrote you up and they're going to call you when your truck's when you figure the problem out before they can work on it. And he's telling you how much it is. And I don't know if he's unsure or not really. The tech didn't explain it to him what really the problem was, or he's putting it in his own words. But the guy, and it's going to be $1,900. That doesn't convey to me that I feel comfortable about spending $1,900 with you.
Well, it's tears in your
Like
eyes.
what's going right? What's going on?
You hear $1,900. A lot of people start to cry a little.
And then you're about to tell them, well, the part's back ordered. It looks like it's on indefinite back order, and we have no ETA. What does that mean? Well, since your truck is in idle only, that means it's going to be sitting here for indefinite. Now what do you do? What do you do with that
Yeah.
situation? That's what Rich and I have been dealing with.
Oh my
We
God.
got 30 ROs open in our tech number, no parts. Been waiting on catalysts. Don't even get me started. I got a truck beginning of March. Truck's just been sitting here. Hasn't been started, hasn't been moved, has just been sitting there. He can't drive it. Where's the catalyst? It's got to be
And
made.
it's not only just like new parts with Ford and stuff as well. It's like I have a 543 valve that's been down in my stall for probably upwards of 6-7 weeks.
A 543 valve.
And dealing with aftermarket warranty companies that don't want to pay. Customers are paying.
Come on.
They're paying, $2,500, $3,000 for this service that this company is supposed to provide. And then when they show up and they say, okay, the technician didn't find any fault with the customer's maintenance. They've been on top of it. They've supplied all the maintenance records, and they look inside the engine and they're like, oh, it looks pretty clean. It looks like there's nothing sludged up. The customer's been doing everything. We're going to go ahead and okay a good used engine, but it has to be comparable to the one that came out of it. So if you have a 543 valve that has 60,000 miles, you're not going to give me that one. You're going to give me another 140,000 mile 543 valve. I mean, I don't understand how that makes any sense, but yeah, that's how it works. Well, then it shows up and you're looking at it and you're like, wait a second. After I've done swapped over manifolds, extracted broken studs that came in the engine from the supplier, you've gasketed everything. And then you're looking at something ain't right here. Why are these spark plugs different? Oh, because there was a switch in between the old 2-piece plug design and the 1-piece design. And now you've given him an old outdated engine. It's not the same as the one that came out of his truck. Well, now you got to down what you're doing again, remove all the parts that you've just put on there because you didn't pick it up to begin with. Then you call the supplier, tell the supplier what happened, and they're not answering the phone. They're not returning emails. They're not on it for days until they can find one, and then it's going to be another week before it can get shipped out. So it's a nightmare right now.
It really makes the situation so much better when the customer is understanding and isn't wanting you to go manufacture the part with something you had. No, this is what we have to do. We don't have the parts.
Well, that all starts at the service desk. The service writers, they have to set those kinds of expectations with the customers. And a lot of times, to their own detriment and to ours, they'll overpromise and underdeliver. They'll promise things that just can't happen because they don't know yet. They could promise an oil change to be done in 2 hours, and then we call the parts store and find out there's no oil filters.
Oh,
and now what do? They don't exist. There's one, but it's about a 2-hour drive away. I can have it in 3 days.
Why did I drain the oil?
Why did you promise that? I mean, we've got to leave those doors open now, especially post 2019. That's just kind of the reality that we're all in. And, I think we're slowly starting to catch up. And I think a lot of the customers realize it, but as long as you just set that expectation first, it makes things go a lot smoother.
That is true. I will second that. I saw you guys do a fuel check-in. We had 576 here. I know a couple guys had 599 in Buffalo. You guys can
look at little Rayman Ray.
He showed up. Hey, baby.
Mine did the same thing and just made
She's gonna come back. Watch this. She's gonna come back.
a quick
quick
cameo.
Nice. Say hi. Say hi to everybody.
If my diesel guy retires, I'll drive to Michigan. I got you, David. I got you.
I got a guy dropping one off right now. He called today. I mean, a little bit of an incident happened, and I don't know if it was. I know I've talked about this kind of stuff before, but you guys as subscribers to us that rely on us, our information, our videos and stuff like that, it's important to understand that there's I don't know how to say this the correct way. There's a line between us being able to provide the information and help you out as much as we possibly can because we care about you, and then your expectation and when you contact the dealer to try to get your vehicle in. I had a gentleman contact the dealer today. I guess he previously had an appointment. I didn't find out until after the conversation that he didn't show up for his appointment, and it was wiped out of the system because he was too many hours too late. And he had some words with the secretary girl today, and they weren't very nice words. And he admitted that he was not very kind to her. And she had got off the phone by saying, well, then don't call the dealership anymore if you're going to treat me that way and talk to me that way. I couldn't let that go. I had to address the situation because now my name's on the line. You've already mentioned my name. You've mentioned the channel. So I had to go to the extent of saying, hey, I need to talk to you about this. Just because you watch me on YouTube and stuff like that, it's not that I don't want you to mention my name. I do expect you to conduct yourself very professionally. Don't give me a bad name because you're unhappy with something that fell through. And now you want me to service your vehicle. I'll service your truck. And 15 F-150 or F-350 sat at an auction for a long time. Nobody was buying it. I don't know if anybody was bidding on it or it just didn't meet a certain amount. He met the amount and he won the bid. So he got the truck now, and it's not providing fuel to the lower fuel filter. And he noticed there was some metal in the fuel filter. So he wants to drop it off of the dealer, and he wants us to look at why it's not getting fuel. At least get it fuel and let's see if we can get it started. And then he'll take it from there. He just wants it started first. So that's what the appointment was for. But when the appointment got cleared and whatever expectation there was of somebody to call him back, I don't know what it was. I just had to make it very clear. You guys don't know how to do your effing job. You guys don't know this. You guys don't know that. And any name calling and stuff will not be tolerated. If you can't conduct yourself when providing or wanting an appointment from the dealer using my name and my channel and what I'm allowed to do. And I think Aaron would think along the same line, be respectful. If you can't do that, then you need to reach out to one of us and say, hey, I'm trying to get in there. Something happened. Can you figure it out? Well,
Don't
yes.
come in acting a fool. Come on, it's a
And
place of business.
it was completely unnecessary. And I had laid the guidelines out and said that you could get me removed from doing what I'm doing because of how you conducted yourself today. My dealer may look at that and say, you know what? Hey, we don't want any of that. And if you're going to do videos and that's what you're going to bring in, then we're going to ask you not to do the videos, and we're not going to let you provide an extra service to the customers. And you're just going to be done. How about that? Because we don't need that kind of attention. And I explained that to him, and he understood, and he apologized for everything. And that's something I wanted to bring up tonight as well, is conduct yourself professionally, please, because now I was able to call the shots right then and there and say, go ahead and get your truck dropped off. Over the next couple of days, I will find time in my schedule to go out there and look and see if I can't come up with something, and I'll get back to you. But please do not conduct yourself like that when you're calling our professional establishments. It's not okay.
I'll let you keep talking, having the floor. I wanted to take a couple and talk about your boy Ryan over at the shop, and any updates that are going on with him. If anything's changed. I know he had set up the GoFundMe, or his family had, and I know they had some overwhelming support from people online and the community. So that was definitely good to see.
I actually just reached out to her too, because I asked for an update about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. And the update is there's still no update because of the holiday and stuff. Things got pushed back. Certain tests and biopsies and things that were going to be done and looked at and analyzed didn't quite happen the way everything was supposed to go down. So she said everything as we last spoke, and that Ray knows about, and you know about, everybody else knows about, is the same as it was. There's nothing new, unfortunately. And for those of you that don't know the story, Ryan is a young technician that works at our Hyundai dealer in our auto group. He's a fabulous person. He's got a great attitude. He never is mean to anybody, always very, very respectful. And he just wants to help people like we do. And he, from what I gather, went in for some dental work. At first, the stories were mixed, but he went in for some dental work. The dental work, I guess, went well. Made it back home the next day, was having some issues with motor function, responding to things appropriately, having conversation with people and being able to make eye contact, almost as if his body was doing what it wanted to do and his brain wasn't able to control what was going on. The short of the story is his fiance picked up on it and rushed him to the emergency room. They were trying to get him prepped and ready for a CAT scan, but he was not responding to commands and stuff appropriately for a successful CAT scan, kind of limbs kind of doing what they wanted to do without him being able to control it. And from what I gather, they gave him some anesthesia to just get him through the CAT scan so they could see what's going on. And when he should have come out of it, he has been unresponsive for weeks now. Alive, but unresponsive. Still in the hospital, not doing very well. They don't know if he's going to come out of it. I asked the stepmom for an update about an hour and a half ago, and she said the status is still as it was when I first put out the video, and Ray put out the video, and Check Engine Chuck and everybody else that kind of helped out. There's been no change. It's still the same state.
Oh, that's scary. One day you hear, one day you incapacitated, and I know we've heard it before. One day you're here, one day you're not. It's
Ray put out a video on his channel, and it really helped out get things moving a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people came forward that trust Ray and trust me, but Ray did a lot of work on that because of his following and stuff. It just really helped out, and the family she was in tears when I was talking to her on the phone. And it looks like the support is still continuing to slowly roll in with donations and prayers and stuff like that, which we greatly appreciate. The odd thing is, I didn't know about it because I think the family was trying to gather everything and try to figure out what to do because this all happened June 7th and June 8th, and he's been out of it since then. That's how long it's been. Now, the same time I find out about this, and this is for you technicians out there that take safety for granted, and this me as well. You guys caught me. Some of you guys grilled me because you seen I was doing something that wasn't very safe. and I was taking a U-joint out of a drive shaft, and I could have been doing it a lot safer and better than what I was. I didn't have a face shield on, and a big chunk of it flew out and pegged me right in the eye socket, went underneath my skin and lodged itself down by the bone, and could have taken out my vision. And since then, I've made an effort to safety glasses, face shield, try to protect myself the best I can, because that could have been it for me. And I used to brush that off as like, I'm an adult, I got it. I'm an adult, I got it. And I never really took it all that seriously until now. And now I'm deathly afraid when I'm working on things that I need to be protected. But there's some things you can't control. One of our main engine builders and experienced seasoned guys, Rob at work, he's recovering now. It seems like he's going to slowly do better. But he was at work working at on a Ford Raptor, and turned around while he was looking at a tool or something that he had in his hand, and smacked his head right on the arm of the lift holding the truck up. And he hit his head so hard, it startled him, and it threw his balance and stuff off. And he worked the rest of the day trying to brush it off. I'll get over it. I'll be fine. I'll get over it. The next day, he looked completely worse. By that night, he was walking to the point where his body was starting to drift into the wall while he was walking. And I made the comment without knowing what happened, brother, you don't look very good. What's wrong with you? And he was like, man, I have so much pressure behind my eyes and my head hurts so bad. My body just aches right now. And the very next morning we get word he's not coming into work because he's admitted to the ICU, because that one smack of that lift and him not paying attention where he was walking created so much inflammation on his brain that they had to monitor him for days to see if the inflammation would come down, because it was creating an issue with his right arm and his right leg, and similar to what Ryan's going through right now. And to have these compounded back to back with two coworkers that you really appreciate, you love, and you're with, it's really rough, because it makes you think about your job, think about what you're doing, your health. Are you taking care of yourself appropriately? And to lose somebody like that that's been such an impact on you, it's rough, because then you start analyzing everything that you do every day. You're like, man, I do so much wrong safety wise that I should not be doing, and I do it every single day. And why does it have to take somebody else almost losing their life for you to wake up and be like, I need to change all this stuff about the way I'm doing things? It's just, Ryan ended up having lesions growing on his brain and spinal area that were pressing on the nerves. And they think that that's the reason why the functions were stopping and he's unresponsive, is because those lesions have done and put so much pressure on his nerves that his body just doesn't know how to function. It's not functioning. And then Rob, he's getting better. The inflammation's going down, and he should be able to return to work next week. I think that's way too soon, but he thinks next week he's going to be coming back to work. I don't know.
How old is he?
Rob or Ryan? Ryan's like 21, 20.
Okay, I was gonna say he looked young.
Ryan's, I think on his Facebook, he had a picture of him, or a video of him getting engaged at a baseball game. He proposed to his wife, and he has a fiance, and they're both really young. I think Ryan's 21, 22 years old. Rob is, I think, 60. But I look at all these techs and stuff in their 50s and their 60s, man, and they just look beat. They can't walk across the floor straight. They're hunched over. Their hands look all swollen and stuff all the time. And it's like, what do you do, man? It's all you've ever known.
I know. I'm just talking with one of our senior techs today that hasn't been there. I drive on a road test and I look over, see, whose truck's out there, and I haven't seen his F-150. Like, what's up, man? You all right? And he did something, lifted something, was doing a 1.7 or 1.5 short block, and heard a pop, and now he's in pain, and now he's got a few discs that are ruptured or bulged, and he's got to get some injections, but he hasn't been at work, and I feel for him. I've had to unfortunately have that done myself, and it's not fun, but it definitely, it's like FBM said, it's like, what it makes you think. I will second his safety glasses stuff. I don't really. I mean, if I'm grinding something, I will. If I'm doing a tire rotation, no. If I'm doing brakes, no. But as one of my coworkers as my witness, I told him after Ford Boss had that video where that shit was still lodged. No bullshit. Right here. You see his video. I wear safety glasses all the time. I don't
I
care if it's
forget,
hot.
I don't know who it was, Aaron, but somebody was like, "Hey, dude, like I understand that you think that it may have just nicked your eye and brushed off. It is bleeding down my face." Uh, he was like, "If something hit you that hard to where you were startled, it probably just didn't glance off. It's probably in your face still. So what? If take a small magnet that's not very high powered,
Oh
just kind
yeah,
of brush it like that, and
that's
see if
right.
it comes out to your skin. It's still in there." And I was just took like a pocket screwdriver, and I was like, "Oh, that hurt, man. It's still in there."
Dang.
And then they had to dig in my eye socket for like an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. You'd think they'd just do a nice incision, but because of that area and how sensitive it is by your brain and your eyes and everything, they can only give you so much. Well, I don't know what it is. It's not lidocaine or anything, is it? What is the injection stuff called? Nova, or not Novocaine? Is it Novocaine?
Yeah, it's okay, isn't it?
And so they can only do a little bit at a time because of the concentration of where it's at. And the lady was like, "You're going to feel some of this. I'm not going to count that out, but I'm going to try to make you comfortable while I'm working on your eye." And there was they were so busy that the assistant had to do the work instead of the main doctor. And the assistant came in there and she was trying, and 45 minutes into it, she's cutting and cutting and cutting deeper and deeper and deeper. And she was like, "Look, I don't feel comfortable going any deeper because this is becoming very, very difficult. And I'm going to have the main doctor come in here and finish this." So she worked on my eye for about another 30 minutes and then finally got all the way down underneath where it was lodged up into the socket and slowly moved it. And it kept pulling back and moved it, kept pulling back. And then finally it came out, and it was like the size of like if you were to take a pencil and just chop it off. It was that diameter almost, not quite. And it was a big chunk. And I felt her pull, like they gave me 2 injections and I felt everything the entire time. And it hurt so bad. And I was like, you know what? This is so stupid. Why didn't I have a face shield on? Why didn't I have safety glasses on? I don't even know that safety glasses would have, because of where it hit, it was under your safety glass line. It was like right on the
Yeah.
edge of it.
That's right.
Now I have one of those 3M face shields that come all the way down. So when I'm doing that kind of drive shaft work or something and I'm trying to press something out, and I don't have to worry about that. Well, theoretically, you don't have to, but it can still go through.
I'm talking to this guy in the comments right now. I will just talk about it right now. This Pyro 4100 says, and I quote, let me go to the top. He's got a 2013 F450 Super Duty, and he says he's following the factory maintenance schedule in the book. Oil changes every 3,000 miles, and it doesn't seem to help with any of his failures. He says he's just tuning in, and he's got a quick question and wants to know why he has to replace motors every 48,000 miles. Now, I'm like, well, this has got to be something you got to be doing wrong. You're going through motors that quick. What the hell's going on? He says we get the filters from Ford and we get the oil from a distributor in a bulk 55-gallon drum, and it's synthetic 1540. And as of right now, we're not doing anything to it because the truck's not running. Not sure on the hours for a change interval. Like I said, we've shortened it to 3,000 miles and implemented a no idling policy with a truck when it's not being used to avoid issues with the SCR. Little RPM idling is a big cause of breakdown across all diesel engines, especially with the exhaust systems now. Brother, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care that you're putting 3,000 miles on the truck. The time that it's taking your record to put on 3,000 miles is going to be greatly overwhelmed with the amount of engine hours runtime. When you pull up to a scene, you guys aren't using your PTO in EV mode and the truck's off. You got to be running for the PTO. You're running lights, you're running equipment. You may be on the side of the road for 30, 40 minutes. Cars whizzing past you, you're at an accident, hour goes by, 2 hours goes by. Hours. Every hour of idling is equivalent to 30 miles of driving. So you need to be changing your hours. I mean, you need to be changing your oil per hours at 150 to 200. I don't like the 3,000. Any record, if you got a cab chassis, it's a work truck. You're not with a pickup bed and you're not driving it from home to work every day and that's all you're using it. All cab chassis, all these things that you're talking about are all work truck, garbage truck, ambulance, fire truck, tow truck, everything. 150 to 200 hours. Bottom line, I don't want to see another 3,000. That's a just a no bueno. 1540.
If you're in Florida, that's all right.
1030, 540 for me. You
Well,
can
who
use-
makes this? Who makes this oil?
I don't know. He says he gets it in a drum. He says Rotella 1540 full synthetic. Robert Bartow, welcome.
I mean, down south, 1540 is just fine.
Yeah.
Further
we get a-
north, no.
I mean,
get a
I could,
good price on it.
I could see using it during certain, months or whatever when it's bad, but like CP said, it's just 1030 up here is more than sufficient. I don't know that I would do anything more than that, especially on the newer, closer tolerance stuff. I mean, in the manual, it does say you can run 1540 down to 20 degrees, but you cannot run it anything lower than that. I think we covered that before.
Yep.
When we were looking. I see that's where my hang up is. That's where I tell a lot of the guys, 6-7, power stroke guys that just run the 1030, or if it's
Absolutely.
severe, the 540.
Absolutely.
I will say, if you're gonna say hours, it's hard to monitor hours. So I wonder if, like, for
Why?
me,
How is it hard? How?
Well, because nothing's really reminding you. You'd have to.
Well,
just,
that's not.
I mean, you'd
that's
have to
why
do some
we put-
some like longhand work, write it down. on paper.
No, you got an engine hour meter on there. You instead of putting the miles on the oil change sticker, if your
Okay.
truck's at 2,000 engine hours, well, make it for 2,200 engine hours and just periodically check. Know that you're going to be or leave the engine hours up there. But guys want to look at their fuel economy and their depth percentage, and they don't want to look at their hour meter. Hey, I get it, no problem.
Well,
But
you could
just
also
know.
you could
have
also
to thumb
time it
through
in
that.
your GPS. Like my GPS is always. You could just put it into the parameters. Hey, every 200 hours, remind me of a service.
True
It'll
that.
just, it'll
Or
just
if you
email
use this app, you can put it on there in hours.
Rain Man, what do you think out of your repertoire of vehicles that come in? Do you think they're mostly cars, mostly trucks? Do you get an even amount of? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm about split on that. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
like I said before we started, I'm in retail right now. So it's half and half. It's just kind of whoever's there. I mean, we do have some fleet accounts. We've got a few vans out there. We're heavy into trucks in Florida, so the cars are kind of here and there, but a lot of things is that it's a truck platform. That's just kind of how the bulk of it is. I mean, most of it's 1,500 size trucks. I get a 1 ton or 3/4 ton every now and then, but it's mostly 1,500s.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead. But at the dealership, it was a whole different ballgame because I worked in the fleet department. So it was all 2,500s, 3,500s, cabin chassis,
Yep.
the G
Yep.
vans,
Yeah.
And on top of that, I also processed our used inventory that came in. So I kind of had 2 jobs at the same time. So, but it was, so I still got to keep up with, the aftermarket and with stuff you'd normally see in retail. And I still got to play with my trucks because that's why I ended up taking that job at the dealership to begin with.
Mm-hmm. All the cab chassis, all of Himney, all heavy equipment uses hours for service. Brandon Power Stroke, he doesn't even worry about the engine hours because he doesn't idle. So it's like you really have to figure out, you know, what you're using your truck for, or what you're doing. You got to be mindful about your DPF and all these things of why it's not good to idle, and to make sure you're using the right oil. Don't be putting gasoline oil in your diesel. It's not the viscosity. It's not that it's going to be lubing wrong. It's not that the piston rings are shot. Everybody's forgetting one crucial piece of information, and it's in the comments. And I always pin comments to the top. And I always tell you guys, read the comments, read the comments, read the comments. You need to put diesel oil in diesels because the oil is low ash. Gasoline oil is not low ash. We need it to be low ash because of our DPF. We can't have this filter fill up faster than it wants, or we're going to have drivability issues, lack power, check engine lights, reduce power, wrench lights. Not good. And it's imperative that you guys, most of you guys know what's up. It's when you run out of oil, well, some oil is better than no oil, but I would rather have the right oil than put the wrong oil in. So I don't know if any of you guys can sympathize, but sometimes when you're dealing with fleets and so forth, that's what you encounter, unfortunately. Which brings me to a maintenance item that I think you guys are gonna be liking. The engine oil pan. You guys saw a short I did asking, are you really draining all the oil out of your oil pan? I have a pan sitting on the bench, and I'm going to show you guys in a little more detail how much room is underneath the hole that your oil is going out of. And it was kind of shocked to see the little remnants of material that was down in that little corner. Did find a piece of metal in this truck. However, I don't think the person is having an issue. Rain Man Ray, woo woo. But we have two pans, engine oil pan and transmission pan from a company called PPE. We made a couple of videos. I'm excited to show you guys the difference other than stock. How many of you guys want to get rid of that plastic transmission pan? Kind of goofy. When you're pulling the trans out, it does hold the trans when you got the trans jack, but it's, man, I want a metal one. We're going to show you. We're going to show you. I think we'll be cutting it off here tonight. I wanted to give a big shout out to everybody in the comments. I appreciate your interaction as always. Big shout out to Rain Man Ray for coming through. Thanks. Saw a couple of your followers in here. Couple of channel members up in here too. A lot of good questions, a lot of interaction. I really appreciate it. Make sure to stop through Friday. We got another good video you guys are gonna want to see, and guess what it's about? A Ford Super Duty. I love them. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much and have a good rest of the night. See ya.